Well, guess what we got tonight? We got a water leak. So you can see, kind of get your surroundings lined up here. There's my steering wheel, up here in the cabinet. The other day I noticed I had a few drops of water up here in the cabinet after I had the RV out in the big rainstorm. So I took everything out to try to track it down. We've had another rainy night. And you can see where my water is coming in at. So this is getting wet right here, right on that corner. And I'm trying to, I went and looked at the cap. The cap looked okay, but man, it's coming down good. But evidently there is a leak somewhere on that cap. Look a little closer here. I wanted to point this out. This is a cool photo I came across at some point in time in the past. It shows the cutaway of a Winnebago roof. And it's just going to point out, see that right there's where our critical point. We've got to keep that sealant in here so that fiberglass doesn't come untucked and come off on you while you're going down the road. And remember, at the beginning of my video, you've seen drops of water, a little drip of water coming off of the, that's not Phylon, that is the Luan. That little brown area is the Luan, then you got that fuzzy stuff on there. Because I pulled the fuzz back and you can see all this area here was getting wet. So the water was getting in around this cap, and either rolling around this edge or coming around this way, or maybe both. So that's where my water was coming in. But if I'd left that boxing in there, that boxing was all inside like from the factory, I would have that water dripping and never known, you know, get mold, get rot, because it could go down that, like the A-pillar, or work its way down to the side into the sidewall possibly. So I think that's a good idea. I just wanted to show you because that's a really cool cutaway. I don't know where I came across it, but it's pretty neat. All right, back to the show. Okay, on the ladder in the rain. And I think I found the leak. Kind of hard to see because first I was looking up here and the cap looked good. I did this several years ago. But look when you get over here. Just a little bit of a crack. Ever so tiny. So I believe that is my problem child. I believe that is my problem, because it's coming right in this bend, just weeping right in there a little bit. Well, I tell you what, it don't take much to ruin an RV, does it? So all right, at least I found it, and I'm going to get me something to cover this up with so it doesn't get any more water in there. Dry it off. Man, I don't want to put silicone on there. Once you put silicone on there, nothing will stick. I can't remember what this is. I'll have to look in my notes what I used when I sealed this. I know it started with a B, boss stitch or something like that. I have to go back and look at my old video. But yeah, I think that's my problem now. What am I going to do tonight to slow that down and not cause me even any grief later? I'll think of something here. Throw a top over it, I guess. Could do that pretty easy. Alright, on with the show. Let me see until it quits done raining. I can't do anything in the rain. When it dries up, I'll try to seal this puppy good. Sealant. Pick a sealant. Alright, today's project is kind of I guess you call it a do-over. So 2 years ago, I was inspecting my roof. Did a video about it. I think I called it my roof inspection failure or something like that. Because I always keep an eye on this seal here, because us Winnebago fiberglass roof owners, we know you got to take care of the seal, because if you don't and that seal lets go and the fiberglass pops out of the groove, the wind gets a hold of it, you rip your roof off, and $15,000 later or thereabouts, you get a new roof put on or a big repair bill. You don't want to do that. So it's critical to maintain this seal. So I keep an eye on it. Now this, all up and down the RV, this is 5 years old and it's still doing good. But 2 years ago, I noticed two places that had let loose on me. You'd push on it and you'd see a gap. All this is still tight, but it had a spot here and a spot right there. Come on, focus. There you go. So, and I like watching AZ Expert with his RV roof repairs. And I noticed he likes using, he does not prefer the Manus bond. That's what Winnebago always used to recommend. he says it would dry out on him and crack and fail. Not been my experience living in Kentucky. Now, he does a lot of work out in Arizona. Maybe the heat just cooks it and it fails quicker. But like I said, all this is 5 years old, still doing great. But I thought, okay, he likes Proflex. I thought, let's give that a test. So I did test it, but I didn't like what I found. After 2 years, you can see it is let go. See the gap right there? So water, dirt, and crud's going right in there. So it didn't hold. Now, I tried to prep it well. I used alcohol. So I called the Geocel, Proflex, called the company. I explained to them what I did. I said, should I do something different? So they told me to try using, I think it's called Xylene, if I'm pronouncing it properly, as a good solvent to clean this out. In case, I don't know if there's silicone or something, who knows what's in there, not allowing it to stick. Because my Manaspawn failed and my Geocel Proflex has failed. So I'm going to dig this out again and dig this out and get that repaired. Another repair I'm working on is fixing this radius. This has always been a problem for me. This radius, I think this is the third time this has leaked on me. And watching AZ Expert, what he likes to do on these radiuses and the caps on the Winnebago is run the Geocel Proflex over the radius up about here. And then from here all the way across, use the Nuflex 311 RV self-leveling sealant. Because it, of course now, because this stuff is only good for horizontal surfaces. You can't use that coming around this radius, it'll just run off. So that's my goal, and I got footage showing, I'll put it in after this video somewhere, of where this is leaking, and that's why I keep, inside your cabinetry up here, they got that, it's all boxed in where you can't see the ends and the front of the cap. I took all that out so I could see what's going on and I can catch these leaks. Because if you keep that in there, you won't. The only way I knew I had a leak, I pulled out one of my totes and it had water in it. So, but that's happened a couple times to me, and I'm sure it maybe happened to other people. But if it's all your system is still boxed in, that water's going to drip down inside your RV and be getting things wet and rotting things out, and you ain't going to know about it till it's too late. So, something to keep an eye on. So my goal is we're going to dig this out again. I'm going to try to do it better using the Xylene, clean it out really well. And also this time I've changed up. Instead of using, another thing I did not like, is the Geocel Proflex clear. So this time I got Proflex that's white, because you can see what the clear does. Looks nasty, because if I take that, but because of my goal is to run it around here and up over this radius, and hopefully it'll stay flexible long enough, and this joint won't fail any more on me. But if I use that clear, it's going to end up looking just like that. And that's something you can see, from the ground. This stuff up here, this little groove, you really can't see so much. But I don't want to have that nasty look. So that is my plan. Another part I noticed down here, this is Geocel. And you can see it didn't stick either. It's not sticking to that paint. That's a problem spot. So same way I'm gonna take that. See, it's just coming right off. So I'm gonna take that Xylene to that too, clean it good. Of course, it's gonna be white. It's not gonna be as pretty as because that clear, it's not as nasty as this up here. But I guess all the dirt and stuff just runs over on top of it and gets it all cruddy. But that did not seal for a hoot. All right, so let's get to digging. I'm gonna get me some tools, dig this stuff out, clean stuff up, and try to do it again, and hopefully it'll last longer this time. Oh, P.S. I remembered something. I just got all this tubes and stuff that's sitting here. I noticed, some videos back, there was a lady down in Florida that I've known for years, and Winnebago really did a boo-boo. They cut her on her fairly new RV. They cut her roof too short, and there was a big gap here. The fiberglass just stopped like right here, and you could, once you peeled back because she had a leak going down the glass and stuff, once you peeled off the silicone, you could see right through into the metal framing of the RV. So I used, and I think Winnebago told her to use this Henry Crystal Clear. So that might be also a good product too. I think they are recommending Henry now to go down the rails. But I'm wondering if it's going to do the same thing. I'll I'll be seeing her here again in probably about 6 months when we get back down to Florida. I'm going to see what condition hers is in, if it's stayed clear, or if it's got all dingy and cruddy like the Proflex did. But that might be a good option, you know. And I would use this on the radius, but it would turn all nasty too. So anyway, we got all kinds of options for sealants. So let's try this again. So to get this out, I'm carefully taking this razor blade slowly and just going stroke after stroke, you know, cutting this loose very slow and carefully. It seems like it is stuck fairly good to the fiberglass side, but maybe not so good to the rail. See, there's hardly no sticking, no trouble at all going alongside the rail. So it did stick to the fiberglass pretty good, but not so much to the aluminum. So let me cut on this just a little bit more and I'll have it out. All right, you see how deep it went in there? It got in there good and deep, but boy, it did not stick for a hoot on the aluminum side. And even that side, it seems a little... It did give me more of a fit as far as cutting it out on the fiberglass side. But now the trick is to get that really clean. I'll get that Xylene in there, clean it good. I got me a Scotch-Brite pad here. And then I'll probably take my air compressor too and give it a blast. Clean that out well. I got this other little spot to do, and I got to clean all this out too to get it ready. So I got some more work to do. So while I was cutting out this radius, that old caulk, I got to thinking about, I remember AZ Expert. I remember him adding a screw here. And that might be part of my problem too, because there is no screw here, and so we're getting a little bit of flexing. That may be what causes this seal to keep failing on me. So I may have to get me the right type of screw, do some very careful measuring, so I know find out where the metal is on the back side, and put that in there. I mean, it seems to be tight. I can't push on it, but it couldn't hurt. So that might be something I need to do after this repair. So you see I'm carefully taking this razor blade, trying to work out this old caulk by, you know, following it slowly along the fiberglass of the roof, then coming up here a little bit higher, and then taking a cut right alongside the cap. So I can try to get a big chunk of that out of there. You can see how it's, I mean, I had it in there pretty deep. I mean, I shoved it in there a good 1/4 inch. So I thought that was pretty good, but evidently not good enough because water still got in there. So let me keep working on this and try to get this out so I have a good gap to put in new stuff. See, if you take your time, so I got this big old chunk slid out. See what a big gap we got there? Need to fill that out. So you can kind of get in behind here and work the caulk out. Just like that. But look how much dirt is in there. That shows you how much that thing was leaking. There we go. I got me a nice big gap. I can fill it full of that new sealant. I'm gonna work on it a little bit more, make it a little prettier. Well, I must say this Xylene is pretty strong stuff. I had this. What was this? Oh yeah, it was just duct tape. It's just white in color. So I put duct tape on here to slow down my leak while I was on the road, just for a quick fix. I didn't want nothing too permanent. But that Xylene, boy, it really takes that stuff off quick, that sticky residue. So that is some powerful stuff. I probably wouldn't recommend on paint, but on this fiberglass, it's working like magic. Looky there, looky there. All right. Throw a paper towel on it, see what it does here. Oh yeah, looks good. All right, so I imagine that if it's that strong, that should work good for down in these grooves to get all that cleaned out so we get some good adhesion. And you can see I got it cleaned out pretty well. I got a nice big gap in there. We'll get all that sealed up. See how pretty and wet that is? All that residue is gone. I've never used this stuff before, Xylene, but it is some strong stuff. You should, of course, be sure don't get around no paint. I'm sure it won't be good for it. So I thought I'd show how I'm doing this. I got my ladder leaned up against the RV. Last time I did this, I was on the roof, kind of standing on my head doing it. So I think this works a little bit better for me. A little bit harder on the feet after you've been up there for about an hour, digging or scratching around. But I think this is better. Well, of course, I do got to get on the roof eventually to seal across that cap. So I pondered with the idea of adding some screws to this to make sure this is tight. But I went back and looked at AZ Expert's video and found out the problems with the ones that was flexing out is a different cap. I noticed when you look at those videos how the cap comes down, how I got this little short lip. The ones that give problems will come way on down. And I believe they're farther back too, maybe because this is a 2005, 2004 model. So maybe later 2008, 2009. At some point in time, I think they changed the design of the cap. And I did find a problem though. I went inside and did some looking, and there is a piece of metal pipe. I'll show you in just a second. It rolls right through here. And you can see I got a magnet. It's a super strong magnet out of a computer hard drive. So it goes right through the fiberglass and picks up the metal on the back side. But I was afraid I would miss it because the metal's about 1.25 inches or something like that. And I'm afraid if I drill a hole up here, it'll miss the metal, and I don't think that's a problem. But I did find a problem inside, so let me show you what I found. All right, so here's the problem I found. You can see, okay, I'll get back here. Yeah, see this metal plate, that metal piece right here, it's bonded to the fiberglass, and it's supposed to be pulled tight to this main steel piece, this member here. And there's a screw for it, because this is a solid piece. It's supposed to pull that fiberglass cap, keep it good and tight, but you can see the screw is loose. And there's a hole here for a second screw that was never installed from a factory. So I'm going to put in a second screw, probably put some lock washers on here, and get that pulled in good and snug. In fact, I looked on the other side and it was the same way. Of course, you'll notice I got all that boxing out of here so you can go all the way to the cap. And that's great for storage, storing paper towels, toilet paper, whatever, because you can store it all the way to the cap. Another great thing about taking all this boxing out is the fact if there's any leaks, you'll catch them, because I've seen that. I've had it happen a couple times, so that's a good, because I had a light on me leaking one time, getting water was dripping down under here and carrying on, and I had to go up there and seal one of those lights. I think it was that one up there. Anyways, let me show you over here. Same way. This screw is just floppy loose, not doing a thing. So that's something I need to address, and maybe that'll help keep that cap good and tight. And but AZ Expert did say that sometimes those metal plates will pull loose from the bonding, but I'll keep an eye on that from now on. Now that I know. Okay, got my light on the subject now. I'm going to show you. See how clean I got that now? You can see all the shiny aluminum down there, so I should get some good adhesion now. Now compare this to the one I haven't cleaned yet. See all that dirt and crud in there? So I got to do the same to that one, get that cleaned out. So hopefully I get that cleaned out well, get this new sealant in here. It'll stay where it's supposed to stay. And then of course roll up around that radius. So we'll see what a good gap I got in there now. I can pack that sealant back in there really good. It's always something, ain't it? So let me show you how I'm cleaning this. Just take my paper towel, dip a little bit here in this, what they call Xylene, and I just stick it down in there, give it a good scrubbing. And another thing that's helpful, when these tiny little screwdrivers, we can get in there and scratch out all the old caulking, get it good and clean. So that's what I'm doing, so you can get the idea. All right, I got the Proflex in the gun. It's got a really nice high quality tip. So I got a little tiny hole in it, so it enables you to stick it down in there good and deep and get a good job on it. Now I want to do a good job, so I'm going to use two hands, but you get the idea. So I'm going to lay me a good bead in there, and I'll be right back. Okay, laid me a good bead on it, and I just barely misted it with some glass cleaner, so my finger doesn't stick to it. So that's what I did, and then as I was laying it in there, I was pushing down. I could see it going really deep and rolling toward me. So I had the caulk gun like this and brought it to me, and as I was squeezing it, you could see it pushing ahead of me and going way deep inside that groove. And look at there, I'm making a mess. Okay, but see how you can push down really deep and open up that gap? So when I was caulking it and drawing it to me. And as I did that, you could see the caulk rolling ahead of it and going deep down into that groove. Sorry I don't have another set of hands, but that's how I did it. So I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'll get the caulk rolling and just push it down really deep. Missed it. Where's that stuff at? I guess that spray away glass cleaner. Just put a slight mist on it, and your fingers won't stick to it, and you can tap it, make it nice, smooth, make it look good. And you better have some paint thinner or something, because that stuff is really sticky if you get it on your fingers. But I think that turned out pretty good. That glass cleaner really because it is so sticky. If you try taking your finger and smoothing it, it's just gonna gob up and slide every which way. But just mist it slightly, then you can just roll right across it and just pat it a little bit, make it nice and smooth, make it look like something. Now I'm going to fill this gap up as much as I can, roll it all the way up and top here, because remember, this is good for the vertical surfaces. I can't use the self-leveling stuff on the vertical area. I'll do it across the top. So let's get that done. Well, I think I've changed my mind about those screws, to help keep the cap up tight against the side of the RV, because I came in here to tighten up these screws. Maybe they was loose earlier, and I went to tighten it up and it just popped right off. This little piece was bonded. You can see where it was bonded at right there, and so there's nothing to kind of keep that from flexing. So I'll show you what I did when I go back outside. But now the other side, this side's never given me no trouble. Never had any leaks. Even though that screw was loose, I got rid of the factory screw. Let me show what it was. This was the factory screw. It was just flopping in there loose. So I went back with a screw like this, and I added a lock washer to it. So that tightened up really good. So hopefully that'll be just fine as is. But this is my problem child over here. I've had this leak on me at least twice, maybe 3 times. So hopefully this will solve my leaking around that radius. So let me take you out front and show you what I'm about to do. Alright, so like I mentioned before, I was concerned if I'd even hit any metal right here. So I did 2 tiny pilot holes. The drill bit, little bitty one, there was a 1/16. So I took a 1/16 drill bit and drilled through, and I did hit metal. So that's a good thing. So now I'm going to go a little bit bigger, go to a 7/64 drill bit and go through it. And then I'm going to go out, let me find a screw. Let me show you what these are. Here's the part number. It's a 1 1/4. Hellman got these at Lowe's, and there's that part number 35266. So this is what I'm going to use. If it's long enough, I'm hoping it is. So so I'm going to drill this out, next size up, 7/64. And hopefully this will get some metal and pull that in there and keep everything snug. So let's get to drilling. You ain't this scary drilling in the side of your RV. Because it goes to that fiberglass pretty easy. And there's our metal. Alright, one. Number 2 here. Alright, did that. Alright, now let me get my screw and impact and see if we can't snug this up. Okay, I've learned something. About to make a mistake. See how this fiberglass chipped out a little bit? Because as I was putting in this screw, I'm getting a good bite on the metal, but as it's going through, because remember I want a good bite in the metal on the backside, but these threads are pushing out on this fiberglass, so I'm going to drill the fiberglass out, that section out to like 1/8, so these threads can pass through easily and not chip it out. So let me back up and do that. Oh, I changed my mind again. I'm going to 9/64. I want to make sure those threads don't, that screw don't chip out my fiberglass. Okay, that's all I need to do. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Now they got that little bit bigger hole. As those threads go in, it won't be chipping away at the fiberglass. That's my plan anyway. Nope, I've changed my mind. I'm going to take a 5/32. That should be a little bit, that should be big enough to let those threads pass without stressing that fiberglass. All right, I feel better about that. So now that screw can enter in, get a hold of the metal, pull things tight, and not risk chipping this out like I almost did right there. Okay, I'm very pleased. I'm getting a really good bite. Good and tight. So now I'm going to back it up. I'll get the other one started, and then I'm going to put some sealant around here and then screw it in there. So that way the sealant to get around those threads and I get no water in there. See if we can get that other one going. Where'd the screw go? There it is. All right. Now this one will be my first try. Let's get the impact. Dangerous here. I'm on a ladder, one hand, and so we're trying. Hang on, just hang on. Get the camera in shot. Okay. Okay, real pleased with that. All right, let me put some sealant around there and I'll tighten them both up and we'll have that part accomplished. And for my sealant, I'm using the Proflex right here, the same stuff I used to fix that with, and that really turned out well. It's good and dry now. I really like that. And you can see how the radius turned out. Nice and smooth, you know, using that trick with that glass cleaner. Did I point that out? Spray away. You get this at Walmart. It's great for doing sealant caulking like that. Just give it a dab. Turned out really nice. So I'm using that same stuff. And there's something, a new little doodad I got here. It's supposed to be for help to save your caulk. Let's see how that's going to work. Well, if I could get it back in there. See how that does over the next few weeks. All right, so let me get my impact going and torque these in. Yeah, I don't want to go crazy. Just snug it up. You can see it's working because you see how it pushed the caulk out. So I did get some movement when I put that in there. That's good to see. I know I've accomplished something. So got that good and snug. And you wipe that off before it drips on something. Here's the name of that stuff. Caulk cap. Don't know how good it is, but we're going to try it out for a while. See if it'll work. But I'm really pleased with how that turned out. That's down from the ground. That'll look. Let's see what it looks like from the ground. Okay, so from down the ground you barely even see them. Looks good. Looks good. I'm happy. Hopefully I'll never have that crazy radius leak again. So I'm pretty sure I got the radius leak problem solved. Now for my next magic trick is to seal the cap all the way across instead of having this Manus bond. It's just little, and this is what the factory used. I mean, they never put no big cap on this for some reason. They did on the rear. It's huge, big old wide gap of sealant. I don't know why they never did it to the front, but I'm going to do that now. I got the Nuflex 311 self-leveling. That's why you can't use it on the radius. That's why I brought this. That's why I use the what's the name of this stuff? I got so many different types of sealant. There it is, the Proflex. That's why you use the Proflex, because it'll work horizontal or vertical, anything. Come up here with Proflex, but from this point on, I'm going to use the Nuflex 311, because the 311, if you got it on the side, it's just going to drip off because it's self-leveling. So I'm going to get up here and clean this up. It was pretty clean anyway, but just double check it. I got me a new caulk gun that's battery powered, Ryobi. I'm going to try that out for the first time. Hopefully that'll work out pretty smooth. So let's get started for that. Oh, here's a tip for you. When you're on your roof, get you some white soled shoes, so that way it don't leave marks, black marks everywhere like you will. If you have black soled shoes, you get up on your roof and twist and turn on a hot day, you'll leave little footy prints. Okay, so now I'm going to lay down my sealant across this joint, all the way across. I just want to show off how this turned out. It's starting to firm up good now. It looks really good. So I think I've got this all took care of. That should never leak again, especially with those screws we added to it. Alright, so I'm going to load up my caulk gun, or yeah, my battery powered caulk gun with this silicone, and I hope 2 tubes will be enough. I don't know, in hindsight I should have got 3, but we'll just see how it works. I'm going to try to get you a little footage of this thing, see how it works. Pretty good, pretty good. I better get 2 hands on this and try to do a good job. Okay, so just so you know, that's 1 tube of caulk all the way across. And I noticed this thing quits working. I get a little bit more. I switched over to this at the end because it leaves about a 1/2 inch or so of caulk in the tube. For some reason it stops. It doesn't push it all out like it should. So I'm going to throw 1 more tube on it and we'll see how it looks. Yeah, this battery powered caulk gun works pretty smooth. Nice new toy I got. Nice new toy. Just wanted to show you another view from the passenger side, how it turned out. I think it's going to be a good seal. Also, so you know, I went ahead and put the screws on the passenger side also. So make sure, even though the side had never leaked, it's probably just a matter of time for that little bracket on the back side comes unbonded, just like the driver's side did. So I think this is going to be a good deal. No more leaks. There you go. 2 tubes should do the trick, but maybe 3 would be better. But would make a real nice wide lapse seam. But like I said, you know, I was only had issues on that radius there. I never had any other leaks up front. But this should keep it all in good shape for many years to come. Like I said, let me show you the back of this RV real quick. Just wanted to point out the original sealant. Look how heavy they put it on the skylight, how thick that is. And then look how thick they put it on the rear cap. And this is original, this is 20-year-old sealant here from Winnebago. Same way around the skylight. I did touch it up a little bit around here, but that's been holding up really, really well. But I guess probably makes sense is when the rain is coming, if you're in a rainstorm, that the water's really hammering hard against that seam. Maybe that's why they didn't care so much about the front, about piling on there. But I got it piled on now, so hopefully it's all good and done. Working in my nice building. Sure I'm blessed having a building like this to work in. And it's warm up here today. It's about 90 degrees in here, so that stuff was flowing really good. All right, I guess this project's over. It may have went a little long. Sorry about that. But thanks for watching and have a blessed day. See you, bye.